African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Jumbo Jumbo and hello everybody. A very warm welcome. We are in the Masai Mara of Kenya. We got a pride of lions. My name is David. Welcome aboard to a very own safari, live from the African bush. A very warm welcome to a warm Masai Mara and a raining Masai Mara of 27 degrees Celsius or 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And I got the River Pride, that's the mother, with her 4 bundles of joy. Remember, as I said earlier, we are coming to you live, and you're more than welcome to ask us questions or send comments. And you may do that using hashtag WildEarth on Twitter or at FC in the comment section of the YouTube chat channels. For the youngsters, you may do the same by sending us emails, kidsquestions at wildearth.tv. Currently, we are just enjoying the thunderstorms, and you can see in the background there, that's the Honorable Escarpment and a huge wall of rain. But apparently, these cubs and the mother are enjoying everything. You can see how I'm shouting here. My name is David, and on camera with me this afternoon is Bungay. We're very happy to bring to you this live, regardless of the rains. And this pride has 4 females, and those 4 cubs you're seeing there, and I got a feeling they're going for a hunt, because from where I am, I can see zebras from about 300 meters. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall be coming to you live this afternoon on our sunset drive from different multiple locations in Africa, and we'll be taking you now to one of them.
Good afternoon on this fairly warm Wednesday afternoon. We have just stumbled upon a little family group of bat-eared foxes. Really special to see, and as well as during the daylight hours. A very good afternoon. You see how far away they are. My name is Carl, and behind camera is Glenn. Give us a thumbs up. Hello, Glenn, and welcome to Tswalu Kalahari. What an amazing way to start the afternoon. In the distance, tiny little foxes. You can see how far we are away from them, just so that we don't disturb them, because they are fairly skittish little animals. But the impressive size of their ears, very, very big ears, and they use those very big ears to listen under the ground for potential food that they'll eat. These guys dig a lot. All night they dig, mainly active under darkness. And then in the daytime, lazing about like this in the shade or underground. Oops. So this will be mom and dad with the last set of offspring. What a wonderful sight, because these animals, if they do pick up on you, they're fairly shy. And so if they pick up on you, your noise, you get too close, they tend to book it on all 4s, and then obviously creating a nice big gap between you and them. Glenn, can you just go to the left over there? There's the other 3 sleeping under that bush. There we go, in there, and a little bit more up. There we go, and look at them. Finding a nice shady spot. This is just their daily routine to save energy, minimize on water loss. And So was it how big bat-eared foxes get? Are we talking on weight here? So these little animals, these little carnivores, being in family groups like this, just by their size, you can see that they don't weigh much at all. They're weighing at about 8, maybe 9 kilograms. 3 to 5 kilograms. Where am I going? That's a big bat-eared fox. So bat-eared foxes weigh between 3 and about 5 kilograms per animal. And they're all just taking it easy. That's what you want to do under the harsh African sun, especially at this period that we are in with the day.
Something else is probably hiding, not from the harsh sun, but probably because they're very young and not yet fully formed. We're at a spotted hyena den. We had the mother a moment ago, but we haven't had a glimpse of the cubs just yet. Hi, I'm Mike. Behind the camera, we've now got Sebastian. He's back, and he's better than ever. And we just joined us here at Eco Training's Pridelands Conservancy. And yeah, we're just sitting here at this hyena den, hoping that the cubs will come out. We saw the mother. She's lactating heavily. So she's just was on top of that termite mound. She just put her head down now. So we actually can't see her at the moment, but she was here just a moment ago. Hoping that at some point we'll get to have a glimpse of those tiny little hyena cubs. Malcolm, that is a good question, and it's something that we debate quite often, and I think it's widely a consensus now that although they share some similarities with dogs and with cats, and so in the past people would call them cubs or pups, generally speaking, hyenas are on their own family altogether, and they are termed cubs. I don't know why this is, because to me they look more like dogs, but certainly if you read most of the modern guidebooks, the newer ones, they all say cubs in there. And it's because hyenas are on a family all on their own, with most similarities with dogs and cats, but very, very much unique to themselves. And if you see those little cubs, when they do come out eventually, you'll notice that they look like they're completely different color to the adults. The adults are this grey color with spots. The youngsters are almost completely pitch black. They remind me of tiny little bears. They're very cute. Super cute and super playful, and hopefully over the next few weeks we'll start to see those tiny little things emerging from this den.
Good afternoon, and here at Djuma Private Game Reserve on the western fringes of the Great Limpopo Transfrontier Park, we have got 2 hippopotamus bulls who are lazily eyeing each other across the surface of the water. My name is James Hendry. That is my winning smile, I hope. And on camera we have got Niels. Hello, Niels. There's Niels' thumb. And we'll go back to our hippos now. It's been a misty, rainy day today, and those hippos will be thoroughly satisfied with where they find themselves, because I suspect that the water is marginally warmer than the air outside. You can see that they are not doing a great deal, however. I think that one's just nodded off. And they do sleep in the water. And then when they need to breathe, the head will just come up, and it's an automatic thing. Just like we only need to think about breathing. Oh, and there are 2 other friends we have there. 2 little grebes. Just to the right there, Niels. There we go. Sweet little birds. That's the adult. I think the other one's a youngster, and I think we actually watched the other one growing up from the time it was a small egg. Well, they don't make very big eggs, do they? The egg can only really be one size. It was an egg and then a very small bird, and now it's a slightly bigger bird. So not much has come down to drink, but we'll wait here and see if anything does as the rain falls.
All right, we've gotten a little bit closer to these bat-eared foxes, and they are just adjusting from one shady spot to another. So on their movements, we decided to sneak a little bit forward as well. I had a bit of difficulty here in the previous question. I think it was about, is it the smallest fox? This is one of the smallest, weighing anywhere between 3 and 5 kilograms. The Cape fox is also a light runner in terms of body mass or weight, also between 2 and 4 odd kilograms. So depends on how you look at it. So one of the smaller fox species that we have in South Africa. And really nice to see it in broad daylight. You only see them frequently under the cover of darkness, where those big ears will be put to the right use. Right now, they're just allowing those ears to radiate off a lot of heat, but at night time, they'll be projecting those big ears. I mean, look at the size of that ear in comparison to the animal's body. It is huge. And they are listening for the activity of available prey under the ground. That's an incredible adaptation. And so this is a small family group. So this will be mom and dad and then their offspring. Whereas they associate themselves with mom and dad for a certain period before they find and establish themselves in this vast system. And at night time, what they'll be looking for is various insects, from termites, scorpions, tiny reptiles, and even sometimes rodents. But termites make a very large part of their diet, as do a lot of other animals. A lot of animals feed solely on termites, so it's a very important source of food for many, many animals within this environment. Aardvark, aardwolf, different birds. So a vital link to how these animals get their nourishment, and everybody in a shady spot. How wonderful. So what we'll be planning for this afternoon is
Greetings, good afternoon, and welcome to the Masai Mara of Kenya. We have a grazing herd of buffaloes. My name is Tim, and behind camera we have Big James. Look at how beautiful this is. The buffaloes are enjoying after the short rains that just hit the Mara a few minutes ago. Now these buffaloes are enjoying the grass because it has lots of water, making it soft. You can see they're all active. Before they were just lazing around, sleeping, and others taking a rest. We have cattle egrets that are also enjoying when these herds are moving along and they get the insects that are disturbed by the buffaloes. So also have young ones. As you can see, just the fourth one, how teeny tiny that is. See the brown fawn and oxpecker enjoying a ride there, eating some ticks. Yeah, and a second oxpecker came in. So when they're young, they have that brown fur, which really helps them against predator, because they sometimes blend in and predators won't get to see them. But they will change color as they age and grow up. Greg, thank you for your question. How heavy can a buffalo bull get to? I reckon a buffalo bull can be up to 800 kilos, 8 to 900 kilos. That is how heavy a buffalo bull can get to be. We have an old female here. They're sniffing around while some others are just grazing, enjoying. Look, in this kind of herd, we call this a breeding herd because we have females, we have young ones, we have the cows. And these herds fluctuate depending on environmental or social factors. During the dry season, during the wet season, And when most of them are calving, maybe when most of them have calves, these herds increase or decrease. You can hear oxpeckers. Look at the cattle egret. Beautiful cattle egret. They're enjoying the red oat grass. This is the dominant grass here in the Mara. Very hard grass when it comes to the dry season. So that means buffaloes have to drink a lot. So they take trips to the water regularly. While these buffaloes are staring at us, we'll take you over to another safari vehicle.
Good afternoon everyone. Here at Djuma Private Game Reserve this afternoon. Pretty cloudy weather, even elephants. It's just well hidden in that wood. And I'm Andrew on camera again this afternoon with Mpo. And this is how we're going to be taking you to the safari. We just spot these. It looks like one elephant. It looks like it right now. And as you can see, a lot of also magpie shrikes hopping for their meal. A lot of time they associate most birds, not only drongo. Drongo is also there. But it's kind of unique what is happening there. Also magpie shrike was involved in this kind of situation where do eggs as drongos do, as cattle egret do as well, which those are the one well known of following behind animals, and all they get is insect as animal move, disturb a lot of food for them. So this individual elephant, I'm not sure, it could happen that the rest of the herd is somewhere here, but this is not surprising me, because this is what they do. They are sometimes find it a lot easier for them to feed when they're separate far apart, and there's no disturb in one another. A lot of time you find there's an older one who would push the weakest one for a feeding point. So they also can communicate frequency sound, info sound. This is one of the way they would be able to rejoin the other group if it's happening around, even though they're far away. But in that case, we're looking at anywhere from maybe 8 years old young male. So it's probably happened that he's in a stage where he might been maybe trying to move out of the group, which mainly when they're around 10, 12 years old, they come to a stage where the mother don't need them anymore. And they find this young bull, they all follow from the distances, trying to learn how to be separated, and also looks like he's playing with the sand, but very stationary, well camouflage. And then of course we're not far from the road, but I almost drive past that animal, and until Mpo say, could be an elephant right there. So they sometimes stand for a long time. This is one of the way of a rest. Such a big animal like that. Find a bull, massive bull elephant, when they take a rest, just freeze, stand, or even possible of it sleeping, they sometimes do that. Stand, freeze, all you see that animal, the trunk is all the way down, straight down, touch the bottom, touch the ground, and use their legs every now and then. Tira, good afternoon. Welcome to your show this afternoon. You want to know how many muscles that trunk would have for the elephant? I'm not 100% sure, but the estimate was anything about 70 different muscles there, able to control the trunk. So, of course, the trunk comes massive, powerful for the animals like that. It grows also stronger with animal age as the animal grow up. And that makes that animal to be able to use the trunks as a weapon, also useful hand for them to be able to feed. So I'm going to move forward or on look for other animal around here.
Very good, Andrew, and elephants always make my day. Well, good news. The rains have subsided, or let me say the rains have stopped, and we have perfect light. We can see our lionesses, we can see our cubs, and you remember, I mentioned most likely they might be planning to hunt, and look at the number of zebras or the choice of prey they got. Patty, yes, great comment. Those cubs are bundles of joy. I mean, Patty, I'll tell you, I guess they're about 2.5 months, or maybe just slightly under 3 months. And every day I see them, they give me lots and lots of joy. Now, they're with the mother there, and of the other two females, one of them have moved forward. That's the other lioness to the right of your screen. But then I'm going to show you the third lioness, which has moved a little closer to the zebras, and I think they're laying a strategy of how to get some dinner tonight. That's the lead female, and she's weighing her options. She moves slowly while the other two are staying back. But don't be surprised, single-handedly, she can bring a zebra down. She may not need the other two, especially now this one next to the Taman Mound, taking care of the cubs. Vinny, good question, and you're asking if the cubs are old enough to eat meat. Yes, 100%. Now, just like human beings, lion cubs are born without teeth, and they get the first set of teeth as milk teeth, like, we human beings. And anything from 2.5 months, they can start eating meat. And 3 days ago, I was with this pride and with this cub, Vinny, and they were eating meat. I can tell you, apart from the zebras, their toppies there, if Bungay goes to the right a little bit, toppies are types of antelopes. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, this is a live and interactive safari. Now, what will happen? This one lioness, sorry, there was a plane flying over us. Those were game rangers just doing their normal surveillance of the game park. Now, see how she's slowly moving towards those zebras. Those zebras have no idea. They have no clue the danger that is lurking very close to them. But as soon as they see that, then they're going to do something. What I want to do is just move forward a little bit, just a few more meters, because you might be surprised. She might just decide to bolt and go for them. So the best thing to do is to get close, not interfere with the hunt, but just make sure we have a very good angle and not to miss any action if she decides to go and hunt. I'll be finding out from Bungay where she want me, or rather he want me to stop. And he keeps going. That means keep going, and just give us a few minutes, or maybe a couple of seconds. So we're leaving behind the female, the lioness with the 4 cubs. They might have to stay with her and stay put so that they do not spoil the hunt. Once they start jumping or start playing, it's very easy for the prey or for the zebras to pick them up. So we do not want that to happen, or rather they do not want that to happen, and they know. So they'll always get instructions, either from the mother or from the auntie: stay put, don't play, don't move. Because you'd imagine at that age, they're very, very playful. All right. Bungay does that, then does that. So I'll just stop there and maybe keep quiet for a couple of seconds. That is the lead female in this particular pride. And for those of you who could be joining us now, this is the River Pride. And I am in the Masai Mara of Kenya. In the background, you can see lots of cattle egrets, lots of white birds in a marsh area.
Good afternoon and welcome to andBeyond Ngala, where we have found a beautiful journey of giraffes. You can see a little calf there, just walking with one of the females. And we've counted at least 4 little giraffes, 4 giraffe calves. In total, I think we've actually seen about 10 giraffes here. And it's a nice open area, so we're able to get a really good view of them. See the youngsters just following the female there. My name is Marna, and with me behind the camera is Odie. So like I'm saying, it's a really nice open area, so good to view these giraffes. And how nice to see these calves together. And they're quite a few different ages as well. There's one really tiny one in front there. The one that's next to it was slightly older. Look at that. How beautiful is that white ridge on that mane? That's quite unique, actually. And have a look when it turns again. We were actually just chatting about that. And now, of course, it will turn away from us. But there's actually still a small piece of the umbilical cord there. On 2 of them, you can still see it. Let's see when he turns towards us again. Oh, and I think on the other one as well. Tiny little piece of the umbilical cord there. And they're still very young. Oh, they've found something tasty to snack on there. Right, we're going to stick with them for a little while longer and just see where they're heading.
Talk about tiny baby giraffe. We have tiny baby elephant here. There was not long ago they were just wallowing here and scratching themselves down on the ground, at least to get some ticks and some biting mites off from their body. I'm just gonna turn a little bit for a better position. These elephants are super cool. They look dark from the rain. Look at how beautiful over her that is. The matriarch leading them. They just went for a dust roll. Very, very cool to see. Now, the one up in front, that's the matriarch. So these are related females with the young ones. You see there's a about 3-month-old baby elephant there. I like the way they walk slowly. I mean, there are certain features we look when we talk about male and female elephants. First of all, when you look at, from a distance, from the base where the tusk comes from, just where they join below the mouth, it's always thick in bulls, and in females it's small. And then when you look at their backs, they have a slightly like a concave back, that is the bull, while female are slightly flat. When you look at their head, the bulls have big heads, kind of like a rounded shape, and then the females they have like a rectangular shape, and then of course the bulls are bigger, so much bigger than the females. That is one of the easiest way to identify elephants from a distance. You can see another herd way over in the distance. So this herd will move and walk slowly over to the upland there, where it's more raised away from the wetlands where we are. And they walk slowly, joining the rest of the herd. I'm going to send you over to another safari vehicle.
So those youngsters have just disappeared behind the bush, and then we saw this lovely bull just popping out beside us. And he's also heading in their direction. Notice the size difference compared to those little ones that we were watching earlier. Also slightly darker. Have a look at his ears, and it's something that stands out quite a bit now. And notice the ears are completely black. Oh, sorry, completely white. So for these giraffes to stay in contact, they'll use that as a follow me sign when they're traveling over areas like this. And they'll look for those white markings behind the ears. Look at the horns as well, the ossicones. You'll notice that it's not as fluffy as the horns of the calves. And that's because these males fight, so they lose the horns, or the hair at the tips of the horns. He was looking up at that tree, but I don't think he can reach. Not quite tall enough. Little drongo that's flying around up there. You can see there are a few oxpeckers also riding on his back. Doesn't look like they're feeding or going through the fur there. They're just hitching a ride. Now, in this area, because it's so open, you can imagine how far this giraffe can see. And because of their height, they've got a really nice vantage point. So a lot of the times when you see a giraffe staring in a certain direction like that, exactly what he's doing now, it's always worth a look. It could potentially be a predator there. And a lot of the times when they spot a predator, they might even go a little bit closer just so they don't lose sight of the predator. Otherwise, it could potentially sneak up to them. Quite often you'll see other animals also feeding with these giraffes.
Good to see giraffe on Wednesday afternoon, because what would happen once we get all the wildebeest and all the zebras we have here in the Mara, like the ones this lioness is trying to hunt, they are left hunting giraffes, buffaloes, and some other bigger prey. Now she has moved another 5 meters ahead, but she went now right in the grass. And all these typical hunting skills of lionesses, more so than the lions, because the lionesses will always be able to run very quickly. But now, you may not see very well, but if you look carefully right in the middle of your screen there's a cat that's just moving, looks like a dot, moving away from the screen, and that is a Serval cat. Let's see if it's going to come out of that. And that's what the lioness is looking at. And the Serval cat is one of the smallest cats that we have here. She came very close to this lioness, and this lioness stood up, and naturally the Serval cat took off, and we thought she might spoil the hunt of this lionesses here. As much as the zebras know she's just too small to go for them. Serval cats will hunt small rodents or small birds, or feed on chicks or eggs of ground nesters like lapwings. The lapwings that are flying there. So she is right there. I want to show you where the zebras are, and I'm looking at it almost like 300 meters apart. That is the Olololo escarpment in the background and very dark clouds. That's where the zebras are. But as I said earlier, none of them have an idea or a clue. There's a lioness not very far from them. Well, I'm going to sit right here with them. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a live and interactive safari.
Serval cats are always nice to watch, especially when they're moving in this kind of long grass. We have a pair of lions here. See the one with the collar and this big male here. They are about to mate, but it's not yet come to that time yet. This lioness is from the Olololo Pride. She was put a tracking collar just because of research. And after the data is collected, so the collar will be removed, and then the lion will roam again freely. It's not really disturbing her. Look at the lioness watching a vulture there. Yeah, I was curious to see what the vulture got there. Sometimes the vultures can lead lions to where there's a kill. And by watching and observing the vultures, it becomes very, very interesting, that kind of behavior. That's a hooded vulture over here. One of the smallest vulture, and actually the last vulture to be on a carcass. Because of the shape of the bill, they're very specialized in nibbling on picking the last scrap of flesh on the bones. Hooded vulture, very nice. Now back to our lion. This male is not really wanted by this female. She's been playing hard to get and always snarling at him. Look at them, they're keeping a social distance over there. So this male here, his name is Slitsnose or Bob Marley, because he had some mane looking like some dreads. That's the reason why they call him Bob Marley. They'll mate soon, I'm sure maybe by tomorrow they'll be mating. He's not from this pride, so I think it's also a good idea because he's big. My opinion is he's going to be a good gene for healthy cubs. So when lionesses are mating, they isolate themselves from the pride. Jessica, thank you so much for your question. What is the lion lifespan? A lion can go up to 23, 24. The lionesses especially, but the males sometimes can go a little while longer, for about 18. But the success of age and lifespan is more better in lionesses than the male, simply because some of the male get kicked off and they end up being feeding by themselves and going out by themselves. So I would say this is a very good question. So I'll say lionesses live longer than male. But we have some other lions that after they've walked out from their territory, they can successfully age because of joining other prides. Back to our lioness there. Angie, during this time, this pair will not hunt and will not get any food. They'll be mating for about 3 to 4 days, and after that, that is when they'll come back to eating. So this lioness isolated herself from a pride, come to mate, and once she conceives, she'll go back to the pride, carry on with the pride, and when she's about to give birth, she'll again walk out from the pride, go to a den where she'll give birth to her cubs. I'm not quite sure what is going on the other side. What did you see? Curious girl. I'm sure by the time she gets to mate, she will be ready and much ready enough for this guy. I'm going to sit here for a while, waiting to see what they will do. And as you do that, remember you're coming to you live from 6 different locations. I'm going to send you to one of a safari vehicle.
So now we don't really consider elephants to be hunters, being herbivores, but I suppose in some way they are the predators of the trees. And what we found here is a whole bunch of elephants that have managed, well, I think that very large one that's got its back to us has managed to pull down a huge branch off of this knobthorn tree, and all these other elephants have flooded in to now feed on the food which is now available to them. It almost looks like they're having a bit of a meeting there around this this indaba tree. But it's just feeding on the broken branch that was pulled down. A lot of bark, a lot of sugary stuff underneath the bark there. And so, that elephant's missing the tip of his trunk, looks like. That was quite interesting. Still very dexterous, though. Stanley, why do elephants reverse towards each other? Well, I mean, I suppose if I imagine correctly, what you're saying is that when they all face outwards and they back together, well, Stanley, that's because their weapons are on the front of their face. Those tusks are formidable. I mean, you saw that just now. This very big elephant just moved his head slightly towards those smaller ones, and they all just backed right off. So, the big front part, they've got the trunk that can lash out, they've got the tusks that are good at defending themselves, and of course the heavy broad head, and that's where they can see the danger. So they'll all turn their backs, which they can't defend as easily, towards each other, and they'll be a little bit like a shield wall, just like you would see with buffaloes, or if you'd relate it to human terms, like the Spartans, putting their shields up and then defending each other from the sides. So that, Stanley, is probably why they do that. That's what I'm assuming that you meant. And they'll often put all the youngsters in the middle as well, and the smaller females and the smaller males in the middle, and all the biggest elephants would be on the outside. You can imagine, if I stood next to that elephant there, I probably wouldn't even get up to its tail, where the tail joins with the spine there. That's how big this elephant is. So you can imagine what a formidable and intimidating animal that would be, with its head raised up and its ears open. It's so interesting how this is the second time we've seen them do this, break one huge branch of a tree, and then all the smaller elephants come and also start feeding. And I wouldn't be surprised if something like the Ngala and Impala also, once the elephants move away, come and start feeding on whatever they is left, because of course they also can't reach a lot of the good stuff. Right now it's very dry, as you can see in these pictures. So there's not much green vegetation, but those little green leaves on this knobthorn, on the branch, there's actually a good example of it just there in front of that elephant. Tiny little green leaves, very, very nutritious, just in front of the bark on that knobthorn there. So that's what they're after. Small leaves, but a little goes a long way. They're very, very nutritious in this time of year when there's not much. We've seen the elephants and other animals feeding on the most ridiculous stuff. Dry leaves, which we'd never usually see them eating. Things like magic guari, which is incredibly unpalatable. This dry grass, which has almost nothing left. And there's an elephant we all know quite well, if you've been watching frequently. He's got many names. We just call him Limpy. He's a very calm elephant who is often around in Ndlovu Dam and around our eco-training camp. He's got his back right leg is very short. It doesn't seem to be able to control it all too much, but it certainly has some function because he's able to walk on it and move around on it. It doesn't seem to be holding him back too much. He's still quite young though, so I'm sure he's got a lot of growing to do. It must have happened when he was very small for him to have been able to get used to using it the way he is. Anyway, hopefully he sticks around with this nice bachelor group.
So we're still with these giraffes, and we've got a female in front of us. It almost looks like she kind of reversed under that guarri bush. Well, now she's coming out. And she's been ruminating, or she's been chewing a cud since we've been here. Oh, did you see that now? The food coming back up that long neck, and you can see how full her cheeks are again. So she's just extracting all the nutrients from that food, and then she'll swallow it again and bring it back up. You'll see cows and buffaloes doing that as well. Just grinding the food with those big molars. There it goes. Now watch, let's see if we can see it coming back up. You'll see those cheeks puff up again. And there it goes, there it goes. Quite a strange thing to watch. Tamarin, what color is a giraffe's tongue? So it's almost like a black slash purplish color. Quite dark and a very, very long tongue. So their tongues are about 45 centimeters long. But yeah, quite a strange color, purplish black. So we noticed she also had quite a few birds on her. You can see the oxpeckers there. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And what's special about this is that there are red-billed and yellow-billed oxpeckers sitting on her. So the ones, let's just see that one furthest to the right. No, that's also a red. I think the yellow-billed ones might have flown off now. Or was that one on the neck? Still, let's just have a look at that one. No, also a red-billed. Looks like the yellow-billed ones flew off. But it's nice to see. We don't see the yellow-billed oxpeckers too often. Sometimes you'll see them on like a big herd of buffaloes. Cat's got my tongue. Yes, she does look cold. We're also a little bit cold. It's starting to rain, but it's not too bad yet. So we're hanging in here. But I think the animals are quite happy about this rain that we're getting. It's nice and cool. I think they actually prefer this to the really hot days.
Our lions have decided to be active. Now look at this male, how handsome his mane is, how handsome he is. Look at his nose. He's got a split cut, hence the name split nose, or Bob Marley. If you look on his lower, just below his mouth there, you can see one of the mane has something like a dread there, hence the name Bob Marley. The lioness is not happy with him yet, so it's going to be taking a while before they mate. I can see he's also having some bite marks on his back. Could be he got the bite marks from that lioness. So lionesses will come into estrus once every 2 years after they've successfully raised their young ones to win, and then they are already independent. That makes them come into estrus. But the unfortunate reason sometimes when they lose their cubs, they will come into estrus after about 3 to 4 weeks. This is because sometimes the male intruders will come and kill their cubs. So it is now 3 days been following this couple here, and they've not made yet. So I'm suspecting maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow it might happen. So she's not far from her core area of her pride, the Lolo pride. This male is not from around here, so that is a good reason to see these two mating together. Now, something that has always been in my mind wondering, we've seen lots of young male calves being born, and when they split up,
So the very large elephant bull that I suspect broke that branch off has moved off now, and after a little bit of jostling, all the smaller elephants have moved in on the kill to get whatever's left of the scraps after the very big elephant is finished feeding. Now, there's obviously still a little bit left here and there, but they seem to be starting to feed less and jostle each other more, so it means the food is running out there. They'll move on, and you see this elephant here is just feeding on the sticks. So those little sticks there. Remember, the spring is here now, and it's cold and dry at the moment, but it might rain soon, and there's a little bit of shoots and things just happening, which means the tree is sending nutrients from its roots up to the tips of its branches in order to start growing. And so there's lots of nutrients just under the bark. So that's what this elephant is feeding on right now. Not necessarily any leaves, but all the little drops. Oh, I just talked about it raining, and it's actually just starting to rain as we speak. Small drops for now, but certainly getting a little bit bigger, which is actually quite good for the environment. Not so good for me, though. Although, luckily, my skin is waterproof, so should be okay for a little while. As you can see now, the trees and the grass, hopefully with a bit of rain, are going to start flourishing, which will mean the elephants will not have to break down branches and crowd around branches like this. They'll be able to feed on a variety of different materials, which is super great. We are probably going to have to head in soon, though, because the rain seems to be becoming more and more persistent. Oh, I'm so excited. There's supposed to be a big cold front coming through this part of South Africa soon, which should be bringing us some beautiful, beautiful heavy rains and hopefully bring this bush to life.
We always love when it rains. I remember when I was growing up, when it rains, we used to jump out and play games in the rain. Here in the Mara, it's just rained about 15 minutes ago. The grass is almost dry in some other areas, but these lions are not convinced with their distance yet. They're keeping a social distance. So the lioness to the right is actually saying no to Split Nose or Bob Marley. They've been moving up around from the bush up to the road, but I'm sure maybe by tomorrow they will mate. Now, something that has come or maybe gotten into a very big question in my mind is, I've seen lots of young cubs to be males, and I wonder sometimes where the males end up to be. And so I found out in my research that here in Kenya we have about 1,500 lions from the age of 1 year and above. So lions from the age of 1 and below are not counted in the census. So roughly, if all that is mixed up and counted, we have about 2,500 lions. In the Mara, we have more than 50 prides of lions. We have a few breakaways, so consisting of the Mara Triangle, the Masai Mara Game Reserve, and the Outer Mara, Greater Mara, where we have the conservancies. Now, Split Nose is going to mate with the lioness from the Olololo pride. Jennifer, thank you for your question. The chances of these lions starting their own territory, or pride rather, is not as high because the lioness to the right comes from a big pride, numbering about 17. And this male here is an intruder coming from a different pride. So this lioness will go back to her pride. I reckon if maybe the male here, bless you, if the male here comes and gets rid of the pride male here, that is when they all start their pride. But now, there's no chances of forming their own pride. It would be nice to see them mating and also learning that we'll also have a number to add in the population list of lion in the next 3.5 months. She keeps on looking back to her territory, but she can't join back to her pride members because she's isolated herself to mate. So as soon as she conceives, she'll go back to her pride. So we're still going to wait here and watch these lions, watch their move, watch their interaction. And as we do that, remember we're coming to you live from 6 different locations. So we're going to send you to another safari vehicle.
Very well done, team. Stay with those lions, the mating pair, and welcome to another corner of the Masai Mara with more lions, in this case, lionesses. Now, look at them carefully, see the pace, and they're walking or moving with some intent. Now, that's one female there that we call her half-tail. She's moving very quickly, and now she's not heading to the zebras, she's heading to the toppies. Lion cat, very good question, and you're asking what time of the day do the lions hunt most? It depends on what is available or what opportunity has shown up. But more often than not, they hunt at night, not during the day. During the day, yes, but to me, more night than during the day. Now, they have taken off in that particular direction. We want to find out exactly where they have gone because they have hidden in the grass. You see that grass there? That's what we call the elephant grass. And they'll crouch there for some time before they make the final run, either to bring down a toppy or a zebra. They have hidden flat in the grass now. Very difficult to see them. And ladies and gentlemen, I can always tell you, we love your questions. We love your comments. And it's really wonderful to know that we come to you live, and not only live, we come to you live and every day from 6 different multiple locations in Africa.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Mara. We have a pair of lion and male lion and female lion. My name is Tim here. Behind camera we have Big James. Look at this beautiful scenery. This pair here is about to mate, but it's not yet happening. Soon maybe she might decide to mate with him. At this time of COVID-19, we're keeping social distance. But these two are also doing the same, but they don't have the COVID-19. It's only that she has not yet accepted him for a mating. Look at how beautiful she is. She has a tracking collar. It was mounted to her about 2 weeks ago because there's a scientific research on the Predator project. They want to find out the movement of these lions within this ecosystem. Now, these tracking collars submit a report on about every 2 hours on the location and the movement of this lion. Because the Mara Game Reserve is not fenced, we have sometimes conflict, which we call the human-wildlife conflict. Neighboring community, the Maasai, keep cattle, sheep and goat, and sometimes predators will walk out to go in search of easier food, easier prey. Now these collars will help in the watching the movement. Can hear growling, saying keep off. Keep off from distance. Oh, the road is warm. After the rains, because cats don't like getting wet, they utilize the roads because the roads are dry and at least warm enough to keep their bodies warm. Anishka, thank you so much for your question. These scholars submit a research based on species movement, the interaction between prides. For example, if she's walking in from her pride area to another pride area, and also the conflict between human-wildlife conflict if she's walking to the nearby community area. Those are kind of the database collected by these collars. Little stretch there. He's still deciding whether to lie on the road or maybe move. But he has to do whatever she does. Keep off, guy. Can you hear that growl? She's not happy with him. Like, keep off your distance. He's looking at her in disbelief. Why don't you want me to join you? Yes, I don't want you to join you. Look at how big this lion is. My opinion is this is a strong male and will give a very good gene if it happens that he will make the lioness pregnant. But one thing that I'm afraid of is the pride male of this Ololo pride going to accept the cubs. Sometimes the nature can be cruel, and if he comes here and find that she has cubs not her own, the cubs might end up being killed. As we wait here, watching these two, we're going to send you over to another safari vehicle.
Alrighty, welcome to the Southern Kalahari. What a different landscape and scene it is. We are slowly meandering on some off-road tracks this afternoon that was created from another guide. We are trying to follow up on this mother cheetah in 3. And just to minimize the impact, like most reserves, you want to achieve a minimal footprint, as small as possible. So making sure that we are keeping respect to the highest degree, and then just using these off-road tracks to get to a possible sighting is great for us, where we're minimizing on our impact. Obviously, Tswalu, we have a very, very low guide capacity. There's only a small portion of guides in comparison to other places. But the landscape definitely makes it a bit easier for us to move and traverse through this beautiful, open, vast area. So, Mom and 3 is what we're looking for. And I'm just going to actually stop here for us, so Glenn can give us a full roundabout on what this place looks like. Absolutely beautiful day that we're having. And I mean, it's open like the Masai Mara, but you can see the vegetation changes slightly in comparison to that area. Ooh, wow. All right, can you get into that there? Let me just move here for Glenn. Why is the sand so red? Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. I am like a grown-up that's locked, or sorry, I'm a kid locked in a grown-up's body. I find myself getting lost in the sand. It's absolutely beautiful, very, very fine particles. If I put some more on my hand over here, you can see larger pieces of quartz, those larger round pieces of sand, and this is sand that's been broken down from the original rock, and it's broken up and fragmented into tiny little pieces. It would have been from wind, it would have been the action of chemical erosion, but why it's so red is that every single little grain over here is coated with a bit of iron oxide, and that gives this Kalahari sand this beautiful, beautiful red color. Look at my hands there, it's even staining the tops of my hands. But really, really spectacular. And when moving through this environment, and especially late afternoon, when it comes to photography and the different color schemes, it is just mouth-watering, absolutely priceless. So we have this dominance of red Kalahari sand through the western and northwestern sections of Tswalu, and then going a little bit lighter to the east.
So, from one animal playing in the sand to this very cute southern red-billed hornbill, which has found a little bit of old, I don't know, elephant dung maybe or something. It must be filled with termites on a cloudy day like today, and this hornbill is absolutely loving it. It's busy scratching away the earth and all this dead grass, and plucking up every now and again a tasty morsel, you'll see. And it's very, very accurate. Actually, myself and one of the students were marveling at probably this exact same hornbill. We're very close to camp, as it was picking up beetles moving about in the fallen flowers. Oh, look, the elephant's about to pull. Man, that was really cool. The whole branch was shaking in that tree. I know we can't see the elephant right now, but I thought it's the same massive elephant bull that had broken the branch before. I thought he was going to break the branch on that weeping boer bean. He seems to have given up on it. It might be a little bit too strong for him, and I can't see where he is now. Oh, he's reaching up again. Look, you can just see the top of his his head as he's reaching up. You can just see he's just reaching up there. That's very weird. I wonder if he's going to try again. Look at this, how tall that's really. So he's in the bottom of a drainage line, and that tree is on a termite mound, and he's reaching up now more than 5 meters in order to reach those branches. I think he's going to try again to break that branch if he can reach it. Look at that. Full stretch, just trying to reach the flowers and the leaves. Oh, is he going to go for it? Is he going to break? Oh, he hasn't got quite a good grip, but he's going to keep trying. All he has to do is use his body weight. Remember, he probably weighs over 5 tons. So all he... Oh, there's one piece. That's one piece going. Oh, it reminds me of that scene in Jurassic Park. I think it's Jurassic Park 2, where he's up in that cage high up in the sky, and you just see the trees shaking. It's quite scary. But, yeah, that's awesome. I really thought he was going to break that branch, and which would be very impressive, but also a little bit sad. These elephants at the moment are desperate for the food, so they keep breaking all the trees around this area to get to whatever green vegetation they can get, and also to the bark and things, which is obviously very good and important. But it's quite destructive, and in a small area like Pride Lands, if they damage too much of the vegetation, it can start to change the whole makeup of the environment. And now the environment has been sheltered from elephants for a long time in this area. It's only been open to Kruger for a few years. And so elephants are flooding back into this area. And it might be that over the last 50, 60, 70 years that Pride Lands didn't have elephants, some of these trees have grown where they weren't here before. And so the elephants are almost going to be making it back to its original state. Because they are open to the Kruger, so once food becomes scarce and it's not so easy, they will move to other places. At the moment, because of the water that's in this area, they are sticking around, and that's quite good for us. It means we have very exciting experiences. I love having these elephants close by to the camp. It's always wonderful.
Elephants love water, and when they decide either to go swim or do a bit of mud while in the water, is always fun to watch elephants doing that. Now, these lionesses have done something that I have not seen for a very long time. I was very focused on two females, but the third one walked behind my vehicle, took a huge loop, then stopped somewhere. Then two lionesses went towards the zebras, and the zebras and the tortoise started making alarm calls, and we hear alarms, 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 having seen predators. And all those animals, the zebras and the tortoise, were looking at the two lionesses standing up and slowly walking towards them. But the third one went behind the whole herd and unknowingly, very, very easily brought this zebra down. Can you believe it? This was the most intelligent hunt I've seen in a long time. They're smart. They usually know what to do, but I haven't seen this strategy they have employed today. It's the very first time I've seen that, because myself and Bungay, who's on camera today, still could not understand for the first few minutes how did that zebra go down, because the only thing we saw, it was a zebra and a lioness struggling, and the lioness was trying to subdue the zebra down. And then you were like, where did it pass the lioness? Because the one lioness that was with the 4 cubs, you remember the time and mount, we had one lioness with 4 cubs. She left them and went around, and she has done this good job. So when the 2 lionesses were running, they're just coming to give her a hand, but I think the job was already done. Sorry to the zebra, well done to the lionesses, and for anybody who could be a bit sensitive, we apologize, but this is how things play out here in the wilderness. The zebras have so much to eat. We still have many zebras left. You saw the herd I was showing you before, but also these lionesses need to survive. They need to live, and one of them, or 2 of them, got 2 cubs each, or one of them got the 4 cubs. They need to nurse those cubs, so they need something to eat. This is the River Pride. Not sure where the 4th member has been for quite some time. Paper Girl, I agree with you, and I gotta tell you, I cannot believe what they have done, because 3 days ago, Paper Girl, they had another 3 days ago, yes, they had another kill of a zebra, and not very far from here. Well, that kill we never saw. We just saw later on in the afternoon, because they did kill in the morning, and we came back in the afternoon. They had brought zebra down, but this one I can say literally we have kind of seen them bring it down, and I think that was very smart of these lionesses. Before the other zebra kill, a week earlier, I would say now going to 2 weeks, they had brought down a huge male buffalo. These 3 girls, they are strong, witty, and they know how to do their thing. And they remind me of the Sausage Tree Pride, another pride that is here in the Masai Mara, who are very good in bringing buffaloes down. Just listen to them tearing the skin to access the flesh. Again, as I say, it shouldn't be too graphic for some of you. You can always go away a little bit. Peter, very good question. And you're asking, why will the animals eat raw meat and not humans? Well, Peter, that's a very interesting question. But I found out we got tribes here in Kenya who would prefer to eat raw meat. And my grandfather always used to eat raw meat, and it was fine for them. But I think for most predators, it works out better if they eat it raw. And maybe that way they maximize the nutrients, be it minerals, that they would get from the raw meat, maybe unlike cooked meat. I mean, personally, I don't think I would eat raw meat. And I'm trying to imagine, Peter, if anybody would cook some meal and give predators like lions or leopards, I wouldn't know. Now, you see, that one female is going away, and she's definitely going to fetch the cubs. She has had a few pounds of flesh. You can see her lips are red. Not really sure she got a lipstick. But either way, they have to be careful because we got other predators that could easily sneak on those cubs. I'm talking of wild dogs, hyenas, leopards. They should not stay long without being attended. These lionesses have amazed me on how they have brought down this zebra today. The one on the right is the one called the lead female. Corey, you asking whether lions have high cholesterol from all the meat? That's a very good question. I'll tell you what, I have no idea. And I would say either they got a mechanism that breaks down the cholesterol, because we all know lions are carnivores, and it's very rare for them to eat anything else from meat. And with a normal lifespan of 12, 17 years, between 12 and 17 years, they survive. And we do not see them getting sickly of cholesterol as sometimes in human beings. I would say either their bodies are adapted, they got some maybe enzymes that will make sure the cholesterol levels are checked. But that's a very pertinent question, and maybe I might be able to research for you more and find out what does the cholesterol, do to the lions and other predators like leopards and cheetahs, because, I mean, they're all flesh, and nothing else. The only other thing I see them putting in the belly is only water. Could be a zebra, could be a wildebeest, could be a hippo, giraffe, buffalo. Once in a while you see them taking grass, but not eating it. It just helps or enhances them to vomit if they have issues with their bellies. But I think these predators are strictly carnivores. So they'll always try and soften the meat a little bit. That's what they do with the tongue. That is very rough, like so. Anushka, very good question. Why do they lick the skin? Well, they need to soften it a little bit, and they need to get access to the flesh. So that's why you see them licking, and it's like basically what we do for those who love eating meat. When you marinate your meat, and the tongues are very rough, just like so, or like sandpaper, and occasionally you might see them trying to get the fur out of the hide so that it's easy for them to cut the skin to access the flesh. Anushka, I hope you can see what exactly that lioness is doing. But sometimes you also get them eating so much fur, and you have seen once in a while lionesses will vomit a bowl of fur, because once the digestion is done, of course, the good meat or the flesh will go in the bodies, and anything that's not right, they'll always vomit it out. Now they kept looking at the third lioness who have gone to fetch the cubs and just making sure all is okay. But I'm sure either way they are communicating, and I think she gave them a feedback. All is good. Keep eating. I'll be back with the cubs. And I'm going to stay right here, wait for the other female to bring the cubs as we take you to another location.
So we were just, having to rush back to camp because it started to drizzle a bit, and then it stopped, and then it started drizzling now again a little bit. And we're looking up at the clouds, and we just thought, wow, these clouds look crazy cool. Right? They are a thick layer of cloud across the sky, but you can see there's weird swirls and patterns, and it almost looks like we're underwater with these sort of waves happening. Now, we know there's a cold front pushing its way across here, and it's going to bring a big stormy weather. In fact, I think it's already storming at Ngala and at maybe even at Djuma. So I believe it's coming this way as well. They're a little bit south of where we are, and maybe even a little bit more east of us, and our rain is coming this way. But what's interesting is that we haven't had clouds like this the whole time through winter. A few wispy clouds here and there, a bit of drizzle, but nothing that looked like this. It was looking even more ominous earlier. So I think a first wave has just gone through, and we've got another wave of this weather coming now. This is probably going to bring a little bit more drops of rain. In fact, I can start feeling a few drops landing on me right now. But what we really want to see are these huge, thick anvil layers of cloud, which will start... Oh, we just heard thunder. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That's so exciting. Perfect time to do a cloud segment. We just heard thunder as well, which is really great. So what we want to see is these huge, tall, flat-based, but tall, billowing clouds. And that will be cumulonimbus clouds. And those are the thunderstorm clouds that bring heavy rain to us here in the Lowveld. And when we start seeing those, we know we're in for some good, heavy rain. But this thunder is a good sign for us. Hopefully, we're going to get some rain soon.
I'm fascinated that Mike thinks the cold front is still coming. As far as I'm concerned, the cold front arrived sometime earlier this afternoon, or probably even yesterday, because it's not warm out here. It's pretty miserable. Anyway, I hope it doesn't get any colder. This Impala has decided to grace us with its presence and give us our second live segment of the day. But clearly it's decided, no, it's going to come out. There we are. Good. There you are. Well done. Oh, the excitement is overwhelming. As Niels was saying to me, do the animals here have secret holes that they go into when the weather is like this? And I had to admit to him that I thought that was a distinct possibility. The Impala now doing the traditional when we see James dump. Always exciting. I don't think it's going to rain much harder where we are here, maybe closer to Hoedspruit where Mike is. It could, but I think we're just going to have fairly dank Scotch mist mixed with a bit of dank drizzle, all of which will be gratefully received by the vegetation. Hang on. Shut up, bird. I'm trying to listen. Thought I may have heard an impala alarming, and that's what that particular impala we're looking at was looking at. If you understand, that impala that we are looking at was looking at the other sound. No. Anyway, he's quite relaxed. And probably enjoying the fact that he's not being set upon by a whole lot of predators. He does keep looking off down towards where I thought I heard something, as does his mate off to the right. Franco, I don't think that animals get disorientated in this kind of weather. I mean, there must be some. Animals that navigate using the polarization of the light must certainly get slightly disorientated. I suppose that they would just sit down and not move very much. But I think that a lot of the animals in this particular area navigate using memory, sight, smell. And so I don't think they necessarily get disorientated. I know I do. I get completely disorientated. If I'm walking off-road in weather like this, I'm not one of those people who has a natural instinct for exactly where north, south, east and west are. And, well, rather like people who claim to be good drivers, I think very few people are able to tell direction like that without having some idea of where the sun is. And my reference to drivers there is that a lot of people will tell you they have a great sense of direction, but stick them in the bush in weather like this or in a forest and they'll be lost in seconds. Umu, I suppose that he's probably alone because he wants to consider life alone without the hassle of a social situation. Maybe he's an introvert. Possibly he's just needed some privacy to relieve himself there on the clearing. Umu, I don't think any of those things are necessarily true, but, sometimes they just are alone. And he's not completely alone. There are other impala around here. They're just not in close proximity. There's one off to the left, quite far. One off to the right, not quite so far. But sometimes you will find rams like this kind of in a loose association rather than a very close-knit group of happy social rams. We'll go and have a look down where I thought I heard that alarm call now.
I hope that Impala will find some good friends and make a team. Now back to the Mara here, we have a lion, and it seems like he has a big wound inflicted by the lioness. Kobe, that is the price you have to pay before you get the mating rights. I wonder how many wounds he'll have to bear, or how many bites he'll have to bear before he gets to mate again. Now these two here have been walking back and forth to the road. I think he's still trying to court her, but she's not ready. She's not accepting him. She's very much aggressive and growling. But I'm sure after some few bites, probably, maybe tomorrow, he'll be mating again. Now, it's warm on the road. We just had some small showers here. It's just been disrupted by a flying eagle. Lions have very sharp ears. They can hear from a very long distance, especially when lions roar. Us humans can hear a lion roar for up to 8 kilometers. I reckon lions can hear that from about 10 to 12 kilometers. These two here, sometimes they roar, and that can be heard within the territory. Sometimes the roar becomes what we call a counter call, the male lion patrolling the territory, announcing and keeping off intruders. So our guy here, I'm sure if he announces that he's around here, maybe the pride male might come, and who knows what will happen. The lioness, look at how big he is. He's actually even covered the lioness. Paradise, thank you so much for your question. What age do lions start mating? I reckon from the age of 3, they're ready to mate. But for a prime lion to be accepted by a female, he has to be actually about more than 5, maybe 6. But let's say, for example, this male was not around here, and the younger males that were around within this territory are here, they'll definitely mate with him. And that is the reason why this lioness is playing hard to get, because in time before a big male comes in, then they'll get to mate. But to get back to your question, at the age of 3, they're actually ready to mate. I was talking about his size. You can barely tell if there's a lioness there. Look at how big his mane is. Look at the size of this guy. If you're approaching from the back, you can't tell if there's a lioness just in front of him. That looks like a big scar. And I hope he'll not get more. He has got very beautiful, handsome looking mane. What a big guy. Look at all those flies. We call them the lion flies. And sometimes when they're walking into the bushes, they rub against the bushes to get rid of those flies, which is so much irritating to them, especially when they get to the wound. At this time it's not very hot, so there's less fly. But during the day, they have to go under the bushes because the flies bother them. So my guess is maybe tomorrow they might be trying to mate. If not, maybe the next day. But this is going to be soon. Because before we saw them together, they had quite a long distance. They kept a big social distance between themselves. But she is slowly accepting him, so closing in the gap and getting much closer. So that means she might accept him soon. Now the rest of the pride is not far from here. Of course, they are younger males than him, so they can actually not kick him out. So it seems like I'm going to spend the night here because my way home is blocked. So I'm going to spend my night with the lions. As we spend the night here, I'm going to take you over to another safari vehicle.
Well, this tree is about to be very flat. This elephant seems to be trying to snap it in half in order to get to some of the yummy stuff in the bowl. Oh, never mind, can't snap it, so I'm just going to chew it in half. That was quite funny. So it's just chewing on the bark. It's not trying to get to leaves or anything. It just wants more thunder. Beautiful. It just wants to chew the bark off and get to that sugary sweet stuff. Remember, their teeth are a bit different to ours, not designed for cutting, just for grinding. So this elephant is just going to, you see what it's done there? It's pulled off the bark, and now it's just pulling all the bark off. It's like that sugar, that fruity sugar snack that you get. You unroll it, so it's busy just unrolling that. Oh, it's playing with that branch quite a lot. Careful you don't poke yourself in the eye. Yeah, we're talking about you. Yes, but you did very well. Well done. So this is a young elephant. I can't tell if it's male or female from this angle. I'm going to assume it's probably a young male just because it's very entertaining. And yeah, it's probably learned from some of the older elephants how to do this. I've been seeing it. Oh, quickly go to the Mara.
Well, here comes the cubs, and you remember I told you the female, or the one girl that left, is going to fetch the cubs, and she has done exactly that. And look at their body language. We're going for a party, we're going to have early dinner, very well done mom, very well done auntie. See, they're even running ahead of her. See how tiny they are. They disappear in the grass, blending in very well. Of course, they're too small and the grass is a bit high. Most of it looks like couch grass. It is interesting. She had to eat some flesh, some pounds of flesh in her belly before going for the cubs. And we really want to thank these cubs, because sometimes we have seen predators when they go for a hunt. The cubs will always spoil the party or the hunt by jumping or playing. The other day you saw how playful they were. It's very easy for prey to pick them up. And that will definitely make the hunt not work out as, or basically just make the hunt abort. Now, this particular lioness, I've been suspecting maybe 2 of these cubs are hers. She's always very involved with the cubs. And of the other 2 lionesses that are feeding, the one with the half tail will have all these 4 cubs suckling from her. And I think I need to spend more time with them to know exactly, do 2 of them belong to her and 2 to the half-tail lioness? Or are they all 4 belonging to her or the half-tail lioness? To me, I would also want your feedback. They look to be the same age almost. It's just 1 litter. I could be wrong. Bungay tells me I'm right. Bungay is the gentleman on the camera. Come on, dinner is ready. Run, run, run. And as this, I've said a few times, my guess is they're 2.5, maybe going to 3 months. They still got the milk teeth and not permanent teeth, and they're able to eat meat. Welcome to the dining table. Welcome to the party. Tracy Robbie, you're saying you love their enthusiasm. Yes, I would imagine, not sure what language they speak, but I would imagine the mother or the auntie told them, dinner is ready, it's warm, it's waiting for you. And you can see the enthusiasm, the energy, the run they have come in, and it shows definitely they were full of joy to know that there's something for them. Very well done, girls. Eat. Stop looking around. Of the 4 now, I've confirmed 1 female and 1 male of the 4 cubs. Is that true, Bungay? Or we had 2 females. 2 females and 1 male, Bungay thinks. He could be also wrong. Sometimes I don't trust him. You can hear some francolins calling from a distance. And remember, we're coming to you live. Should you have any questions or comments, please send them through #WildEarth on Twitter or at FC in the comment section of the YouTube chat channels. Young ones, you may also do the same. Kids' questions at WildEarth.tv. Once in a while, just stop, pause, and look around. From where I am, the only thing or the only concern would be hyenas. Good girls, well done. Well, poor zebra as it is, but this is how things work out here. The cycle of life, basically. It has been going on for years, and for these generations to keep going, once in a while they must bring a prey down. You can see the wind has picked up a little bit. We could be having some rains, but maybe at night. Ooh, what a sneeze. Did I tell you, bless you? Got a pull a little bit. And what they have done, they have opened the inside and the back side as usual, the lamb side, for the cubs, because it's a lot softer. The flesh there is always a lot softer. Not sure they're giving me some appetite for early dinner for myself too. But today I'm going to be a vegetarian, so this might affect my appetite when I go back to the camp. Beautiful lipstick for the cub. You see, all what they have there, what you can see, all those are milk teeth, which then they will lose, of course, and get the permanent teeth. The wind is quite blowing now. It has really picked up. Look at that small one there. Has taken a different angle. I'm not sure. She's either too hungry. Oops. You should be decided. Get one corner of the table, sit down, and food is now for all of you. Hello there. Look at these bundles of joy here. I'm trying to imagine if these lionesses were wild dogs. Take it from me, this zebra would be almost done by now. They eat very, very quickly. I do not think they cut the chunks of meat to anything small. It's any piece that gets in the mouth, it gets swallowed. But I think the lioness might try to reduce the size. So she keeps looking once in a while. TJS, you're asking why other lions do not have cubs. I mean, it depends on who is in estrus and if there's a male around, and then of course after mating. But we've seen many times lionesses ovulating, and they synchronize their ovulating, and you can get 3 lionesses are ovulating and mating at the same time, and all of them having cubs. And that's why you see many times you'll get cubs just nursing or suckling from any female. But maybe this particular lionesses, when the 2 or the 1 was ovulating, the other 2 were far. This morning, I saw the one with the half tail from where I am, about 4 kilometers away. And I'm still getting the dynamics of this particular pride, unlike the sausage tree pride that I know very well. They separate and they're always far apart, which is very unlike social characters of lionesses or lions. She was like 3-4 kilometers away, and I never saw the other 2 that had all the cubs. So, which I thought was quite unusual. She'll keep looking, or they'll keep looking once in a while. As I said, the only concern here would be hyenas. The closest clan of hyenas here are about 3 kilometers from, 5 kilometers from here. Well, Printer, that's a very good question, and you're asking at what age maybe these cubs might start hunting. 2 years to 2.5 is a good time to be able to start hunting small game, and that's when, if we'll be having any males here of the 4 cubs, they'll be leaving the pride. And as you all know, Pindra, the females cubs will remain within the pride. And I would want to believe, even from where these cubs were, they were left on termite mound. I want to believe they were watching and they could see the behavior of their mothers or aunties moving, and I'm sure they learn a lot. Now, this one doesn't seem to be eating. I'm not seeing so much blood on her lips. She keeps moving from one corner to the other. Maybe she doesn't know where to start. She doesn't know what to eat. Or maybe her teeth are still very delicate. So the closest clan of hyenas from here, as I was saying earlier, is the Olololo clan. And it's not a very aggressive, I would say, or fearsome a clan of hyenas like the North clan that we know. If North clan was anywhere within vicinity here, and they pick the smell, or they pick the scent of this particular kill, they would be here in minutes. But either way, if you look also on this lionesses feeding, you can tell they're trying to feed as much, as quickly as they can, because, again, you never know. 1, they could have been hungry. 2, should anything go wrong, they'll have eaten some good amount. I am staying tight here with this feeding pride of the river pride as I take you to another location.
On Phinda Private Game Reserve, we've just come across this elephant on like a little rocky outcrop here. A very weird place to find an elephant. My name is Dewald, and behind the camera we've got Craig, and we've been looking for the elephants the whole day, and then we just came across this one young bull, it seems, and he was on this rocky outcrop looking to feed on some of the longer grass that's growing there. He's walking towards us a bit. See if I can move the vehicle and give him some space. Yeah, he's giving us a bit of a a bit of a head shake there. There's actually an elephant a little bit further behind us, and I think he's on his way in that direction. Just showing us who's the boss here. Let's stop here for now while he's busy there. He's actually busy trying to break off like a small little twig there as well. We'll keep our distance between us and the elephant. Okay, he's coming towards us again. Alright, let's give him some space. I think he is heading to the elephant that's just here behind us. And then we'll see. There's actually a small herd here next to us. And I think we'll wait here for now. He's going to cross the road just in front of us. Right, we're giving him space. Seems like he wants to head towards the other elephants. Harvey, you were asking how good an elephant's eyesight is. Oh, see how he's like really trying to show us who's the boss here. We'll give him his space. We'll let him walk where he wants to walk. He's actually following a female that's here off to our right-hand side. You can just see her over there. So Harvey, you were asking how good the eyesight is of elephants. The eyesight, hearing and smell is actually exceptional. I think between all their senses, their eyesight's probably the worst. You can see those big ears that they've got, and obviously the trunk being their nose. Their sense of smell and hearing is exceptional. Okay, let's see. We gave him now quite a bit of space. See if he goes off to the right now. These young bulls obviously getting into their maturity and they like to throw their body weight around and show us who's boss, and obviously we'll give them the space that they need. And we want to view them in their natural behavior and habitat, so don't want them to react to the vehicles like that. Oh. He's just smelled something that he wants to feed on there. See how his ears are actually out. He's listening to something there in the distance. And he's just feeding there. Oh my goodness, if you look just a little bit to the right of him now, there's actually the whole herd there in the background. There is quite a bit of elephants. When we first got here, we thought there was only one or two of them, but it seems like there's quite a few of them. Wow, the whole herd here. Look at this youngster. This young bull is actually breaking everything with his feet here as well. Using his feet to break some of the branches that he maybe wants to feed off of. So this young bull will definitely not be following this herd for reasons to mate yet, but maybe just for some companionship to see if he can stick around with them. And see, he's actually heading towards like a little spot there that's got quite a bit of longer grass. Let's see if he feeds on the grass there or if he keeps on going. He's moving quite around quite a lot. And being young, I think he's quite energetic. Yeah, see how he's actually standing next to a fallen over tree there, and that fallen over tree has protected the grass there from being fed on by a lot of other animals, but obviously he does not care. He's just pushing his head and everything right in there. Look how he's actually moving the dead trees with his tusks, trying to get to the grass. Oh, that is incredible. Very cool to see him actually using his tusks like that, and just obviously trying to get to the grass. He's going to the toilet there as well. So happy that we found these elephants. It's nice and cool, so they are moving out into open not into the thicker areas anymore. Actually, while Craig is filming his head there, you can actually see that rounded head that the young bulls have. And then we'll see now if the females come out a little bit, if we can see if we can show their foreheads to you. Oh, they've got like a little bit more of a boxy shaped forehead. Let's see, there they're coming out now. Oh. Just turned away as we got onto them. There you can see that one female just facing straight towards us. A little bit more of an angle to her forehead compared to the bulls. Just because that bull will be using that head to push around other bulls when they are fighting or so. Need a bit more of a sturdy skull. Here's another female just coming across now. All of them slowly coming into this open area here next to us. Wow. Very, very, very special to find the elephants here. We are right in the south of this, of Phinda, and often the elephants only really come in this direction when there's been quite a bit of rain that have fallen, and we've had about 2 or 3 days now of rain. We are very, very happy about that. Oh, see how she also went straight to that fallen over tree that's protecting the grass there. Okay, let's give them some space. Seems like she wants to come in this direction as well. We're still a little bit of a distance away from her, but rather give her space and let her move where she wants to move. Right, let's see, here comes that young bull, also waving, shaking his head a bit. Waving a bit.
Well, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we must have lost Phinda. Sometimes we get these technical issues. You'd imagine us broadcasting all the way from the African wilderness. These challenges will come once in a while. But on a brighter note, we have a party going on here. And this is the River Pride, still enjoying or devouring the zebra they brought down maybe 45 minutes ago. It's more joyful to have the cubs in. So all the 4 cubs, a good stretch there, maybe trying to create room in the tummy for more flesh. Where do you want to start? Do you want the lamb stick? Do you want the loin? Wanna try Mom helping you to reach the chubs? I'm not sure even she knows what she's doing. Now, one lioness has left and has walked away, and my guess is she has gone for a drink. So we've been left with 2 lionesses and the 4 cubs. See how bristly it still is? The wind is still blowing and getting heavier time. We have always said when you see winds like this, if it was going to rain, it's going to push the rain away, which is very good for us. And especially for these cubs. Look at this one, she's full of blood. Look at her feet. Oops, you might think she got an injury there. But what these cubs will do, they enter right in the rib cage and they start feeding from there. Milo, you're asking how much these cubs could eat at this age. I have no idea, Milo, but I would say just a few pounds, not as much. But a fully grown lion or lioness, we usually give them an estimate of 10% of their body weight in a single sitting of, a kill like this. But for the cubs, could be very difficult to know. I don't know whether anybody has done that kind of research and found out, how much a little cub like this would feed on. But I would imagine a few pounds, maybe 250 grams, something like that. I have totally no idea. But their system is still developing for digestion.
So saying earlier, they normally tend to go in the rib cage. I'm not sure they take the raw blood and they drink it, or as it solidifies, as it cools off. The lioness, they are still trying to get rid of fur to access better the hide. That's the head area, and I found out the ears gone, eyes are gone. Not sure if the tongue is still there. Anything perishable, anything that could maybe tomorrow morning be hit by a bit of sun, and then it just starts emitting, or it radiates, and other predators like hyenas could pick it up. That's what the lionesses or lions will eat first. So should other predators pick it up, like wild dogs or hyenas, they'll have gotten their kill or their fair share, having done all the job. Look at the feet of these cubs, and their claws and feet are full of blood. I can't see the other three. Oh, there they are, one of them. I'm not sure that the parents have left them the internal organs, which I would imagine are a lot softer for them. Maybe the liver, maybe the pancreas, maybe the lungs. Definitely not the intestines. Look at that angle there. Front legs raised up, and I think that gives it a better leverage to reach the flesh and pull it out from the bones if she has to. Hello, young one. You look so cute. I would imagine the females should have more lipsticks on the mouth. See the difference between them? This one doesn't seem to have so much blood on the mouth. Of the four of them I found out, one of them is always not very playful, and I think it's the one you're seeing there. You see that one there? The other three are always full of energy, but this one is always a bit reserved, a bit slow, and looks slightly maybe smallish than the other three. I could be wrong, but anytime I see them play, and that looks like a girl to me, very quickly sneaking out of the belly of the mother and to the other side of the table. How beautiful is this? You eat, stop just having blood on your feet. So cute. What are you looking at? That your brother, your sister, trying to investigate what maybe mom is eating. They may think where she was, maybe the meat was much better there, maybe softer, maybe much tender. Are you going for a drink? She might look for water, any closed water now. They may not want to go very far because I can't see the third one. And any water she should get from where she is going to drink. I think she's going to look for someone. That's the half-tail one. Look at the lower jaw of this lioness here. So much blood on her lower jaw, on the lips. I think one has taken a break from devouring this zebra, and that's licking now the cubs just to make sure they're clean, and maybe they do not leave any evidence or anything that could lead to other predators picking up this kill. And I'm going to wait right here, watching how things are going to unfold as we take you to another location.
Here we have got one of the oddest looking giraffe bulls I've ever seen. Look at his horns. They are not pointing towards the sky, but towards the horizons on either side of him. Well, not quite, but you can see what I mean. He is also very, very light and seems to be being pursued by a zebra. he was standing so nicely for about 10 minutes. Let's just give him one opportunity to come back into sight. Okay, he's not going to. Let me go forward. Just follow him out this way. There he goes. Recalcitrant giraffe. So very lightly coloured, small patches and squank horns. I wonder if that makes any difference to his ability to seduce the ladies. They're totally symmetrical, unlike a lot of giraffe horns, which tend not to be symmetrical. Well, that was fascinating. Ooh, 1 minute of it. Well done, Niels. There we go. We've still got a remarkable zebra sighting going. I think he's gone now. Fantastic. Oh, no, wait. Look, he's back out. What a sighting that was. I'm going to sit here and bask in the glory of it.
Beautiful giraffe to giraffe, at least giraffe with zebra. But here we got an individual female giraffe. Since it's very much difficult for most animals to understand this kind of weather, see how they're well moving in, blending, but she will probably static somehow. And it happened that the other friends are not far from here. Her friend is a female, and it's got to be more of them. It looks like there's another giraffe just straight ahead of us, so this could be the why she's trying to move around so much. Look around for more of her friends, but there it looks like we're good. If I'm not mistaken, it's too far from me. Grab my binocular to have a look. Good afternoon, Pentagon. So the digestion or regurgitation on this animal is very similar to most herbivores animal, but it comes easy for such a tall animals like this, since they have very long neck. You would think of maybe, but they still have 7 vertebrae. But digestions or regurgitations, it works easy when they stand up, or when they're lying down, but also their neck straight up, so they were able, their throat allowed the card to be bring it up to the mouth to re-chewed and swallow it again. Where we've seen a lot of antelope could do that, but some they can do better when they're either lying down comfortably. But with such an animal like this giraffe, they spend the majority of their time standing up, feeding, but that's a way of them feel comfortable than lying down. Southern giraffe out here, looks like we're looking at the bull out there. So, but of course, during that process of chewing cud, they spend a lot of water from themselves, since they use a lot of saliva, and then of course they don't have to drink quite often, and they drink anything about maybe 30, 37, 38 liters of water a day, depend on how, but not only at once. They drink as they go, and that would be able to sustain their body weight or body and dilute of what they have eaten. So, But of course, chewing cud, most animals help with break the fibers pretty much, which is a cud that bringed up not properly chewed. And then all herbivores do that. When they are feed, it's all about limited time. When a full stomach's full, will not allow animal to feed again until they settle down and make space by that way, and not how to have to, really throw up or regurgitate and chew, bring to almost some stomach, which that will allow the process of a little bit of more of a digest, but then it comes already been done, well grind properly. Then what you see on most zebras, those with a single stomach, and they find themselves very difficult to be able to digest properly. If they don't have the bacteria that help them in their systems, it comes worse on their digestings. So with this animal like this, looks like he's just going to march straight towards us, since the female should already cross right on our right hand side. But I think that is actually better visual than the female. So I'm gonna be stationary here, see if this male come briefly close to us.
So from one other subspecies of giraffe to another, so I probably guess that was the South African giraffe. Now we have the Maasai giraffe, which is common here in the Masai Mara, extending all the way down to the Serengeti. So with all these subspecies that we have about 9, and it is always nice when you get to see 2 or 3 subspecies within the same show. Now these giraffes here are busy browsing. The one to the right is staring. Our lions are not far from here, but not think that she might be looking at the land, but actually staring at us. Over into the bushes, we have other like 2-3 giraffes walking out of the bushes, coming into the open. So most of the time you find these giraffes mix up together. We have different ages as they walk into these home ranges, because giraffes don't have territories actually, but herds don't overlap into other home ranges. We have the big bulls that always walk out and then go and check on the status of the females from herds to herds. So after the rains, the fresh shoots that sprout from the leaves and sometimes on the grass, the giraffes get an advantage of that, despite them having a long neck to get to the tallest ridge. They also sometimes pick on grass on the ground. Now, as you walk or drive around this savanna, you find that some of the bushes are very much well trimmed, and that is the work of the giraffe. So we have the browsing line. Some browsers will browse depending on their height, and the tallest height definitely will be a giraffe, but sometimes they also trim these small bushes, like the one browsing on that bush. The one to the right is actually chewing cud. They take rest, I'll actually say. So they are peacefully, happily enjoying the vegetation there. I'm suspecting the one in the middle there, she's pregnant. Sasik, I didn't get your question that well. Good question, Sasikasi. How many days can a fully grown giraffe go without food? It's not actually known how long can a giraffe go without food, because giraffes are herbivores. They browse on the twigs and leaves. And there's no given time where we have that severe of a drought here that they can go without food. I'll only say if it's a severe drought, they can go for up to let's say 3 days in search of food, walking from one territory, home range to another. That is the longest I can say, because sometimes if there's no water, no food, then they can end up dying out of starvation. Still back on the eating there. Very much I like the color in the background. Look at the sky, how beautiful it is. That giraffe is still staring. I'm sure they've already seen the lions, but the mating pair will not definitely come here for this giraffe. They've already been seen. So the giraffe don't worry at all. Look at how the ears are pointing forward and the eyes locked up one place. Now she's ignored because the lions are sleeping. Back to the kaffir bush there. So the giraffes are selective feeders. So when they pick the leaves, they actually sometimes spit out some of the unwanted vegetation. Bull, thank you very much. The feather on my windscreen here is from an Egyptian goose. This feather here, we use this for when we're identifying or pointing out in our books, but especially the bird books, we like using this because it becomes easy to point out. This is from an Egyptian goose. Very well spotted there. Now back to our giraffes. Seems like she's decided to walk into the bushes. I like the way they walk. And as you watch them walk, I'm gonna send you over to another safari vehicle.
Giraffes this time around would be feeding the lions once we lose all the migration, but the lions here are still enjoying anything left behind, or any zebras behind, or what we call the permanent resident of the Mara. Now these cubs are fully eaten, and I think they're just so full. And what would you expect of cubs at this age? They're just not playing with kill. They're not eating anymore. They're pulling, I think, the lips of the zebra, jumping over it. Just look at that one there. I think they're having the best time of their lives, I would say. Thinking the parents did a very good job, which is true. I had a question, how much flesh these cubs would eat, and I just guessed maybe if it's 200 pounds or 250 pounds, imagining maybe one of them, so the four of them have about a kilogram of meat between them, maybe less, maybe more. This is now time to play hide and seek, not knowing this is pretty good food that has been worked for very much. This is the River Pride cubs. And look at the mothers, one of the aunties there, full. It's just time to go flat. This one there in the middle is just watching, making sure there are no hyenas. They're going to sneak around. And because of the cool temperatures now, because the temperatures have tremendously dropped, this kill may remain fresh, maybe for the next 2 nights. I'm imagining half of it, the 3 lionesses have devoured half of what is called good flesh. that even if a big clan of hyenas come here, it will not be a much concern for them. Now, with cubs, I do not think they would want to confront hyenas. Bruce, you're asking whether there are any vultures or hyenas nearby. Not at the moment, and I highly doubt we might get any vultures now until maybe tomorrow. Vultures will normally pick this more so by sight, and you'll see vultures during the day once the heat picks up, thermal gliding and looking down for any kill. Hyenas, of course, they've got a very strong sense of smell. And the closest clan of hyenas or den from here could be anything 5 kilometers, and it's the Ololo clan, and I would highly doubt they would pick this. And either way, I know that clan, they are not as aggressive or as tough or as fearsome like the North clan that is led by the Wafos. The North clan, anything killed in their radius of 2-3 kilometers, once they pick it, they will go for it. There's another pair of lions that's called the Owinos. I'm sure you know the Owinos. And anytime they make a kill, we have found them, who have seen in the last few years, they have to eat their kill very, very quickly. Similarly to how the wild dogs will eat, because they know once the North clan picks their kill, they have no chance of eating it. See how right now these cubs have changed their natural color, because I'm sure they've been swimming in the rib cage of this zebra, or what used to be a zebra. Is that one a boy there? That one looks to me like a boy. It could be 2-2. I'm not getting convinced. It could be 2 boys and 2 girls here. Playtime, playtime, playtime. Very good. Strengthen their muscles. Maybe trying to impress the parents. When we become big, this is how we shall be doing our own hunt. Now this is the one that likes to play on her own. She doesn't like joining the other 3. But she still enjoys being on her own. And I'm thinking she's a girl. And I don't think anybody would want to leave such a sighting, because neither am I going to leave it. I'm staying here as we take you to another colleague of mine.
Now, we've come across one of the opportunistic raptors, Tawny eagle. Now, this one has a light morph. They come into the 2 different forms. We have others that are dark, and this one that is light. Still the Tawny eagle. This Tawny eagle is actually, sometimes we call it opportunistic, because you'll see them scavenging on carcasses, and they can go for their own prey. They're very, very aggressive, especially towards other eagles. Actually, I've seen them fighting the apex raptor, which is the Tawny eagle. The martial eagle, rather. This eagle is, look at what she's doing. She's actually right now wanting to hunt. Yes, they can. Actually, when seated on such kind of a branch there, or a tree, and if lightning strikes that tree, it can be struck by lightning. I've seen where someone was herding and some sheep was actually struck by lightning. So there's no exception of this kind of bird to be struck by lightning. It's struggling actually to balance because the wind is blowing and there's no shade or cover on that tree. Now, as I was talking earlier, these birds sometimes attack other birds of prey. I've seen them attacking the martial eagle, which is the biggest raptor around here. So he's taking advantage of the last evening light to get some food. The activity on the ground can be sometimes grass rats, mice, or even small snakes that will be creeping on the grasses. And then after that, when it gets too dark, they will go into their nesting area. What a wonderful and good-looking bird. It's still watching over. It keeps on turning its head. Don't know what she's seen on the ground. They have very sharp eyes. Now these raptors can see both color, and that helps them when especially they're going for species or insects that are toxic. For example, the monarch butterfly, which is toxic, so the caterpillar is very toxic. So when these raptors are going for such kind of prey, they look for the color which determines toxicity. Other birds also use color to tell if fruits are ripe, especially the birds that eat on fruits, parrots. So when they're jumping up on trees, they can tell which fruit to go to because of the color. I like the way it keeps on twisting its head round and round, looking for prey. So as soon as it locates prey, it will dive like a parachute towards the prey. This is one bird that you will always see them associating themselves sometime with the vultures at a kill. I like the way the wind is blowing its feathers, making it so beautiful. As we wait here, we're going to take you over to another safari vehicle.
Here we have got our very special friend, the spotted eagle owl, but I bet that you are unable to see our very special friend, the spotted eagle owl, erstwhile parent of Sebwig, our very favourite spotted eagle owl, and that is because she is so very well hidden on her nest, and Niels will now reveal her. Dun da da dun, dun da da dun 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 dun, da da dun, da 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 dun. That's called the owl fanfare. I've just composed it right now. Just a magnificent little bird. Well, it's a very big bird. It's not a little bird at all. Anyway, I've no doubt Trishal has told you this, but I'm going to tell you again. Incubation, we're looking at roughly 30 days. And so, well, I don't know how long he or she has been on the eggs. Most likely she. Oh, in fact, definitely only she, because it's the female that exclusively incubates the eggies. And so we'd expect, I think, I'm going to say maximum 14 days she's been there. And so we can expect another 14 days at least before the first chick hatches. And then probably 10 days or so before she'll move away and we'd get a good view of the little cotton wool puffballs. Now, interestingly, they don't only nest on the ground like this, they will nest in trees, but trees that have a platform in them. So they need some kind of hollowed out concave platform on which to nest. And I've always wondered about this because in Johannesburg, of course, you don't find a lot of riverbanks like this. And if you do find a riverbank like this in Johannesburg, it's either occupied by a vagabond or 4 tons of litter. neither of which are conducive to the raising of successful spotted eagle owl chicks. And so I've always wondered how on earth they breed in Johannesburg, because there are quite a few of them, and they breed in trees, but they don't make nests. So they'll find one of the huge trees in the urban forest that is Johannesburg and find a hollow or a hole in the tree, and that's where they'll have their babies, which is very clever of them. They even do it on the ledges in buildings, the ledges of buildings, not in them, hanging on the outside of them. And apparently if you can build quite nice owl boxes for them, and they'll use them. HB, I'm not sure that I want to repeat what you've said to her, because she's a fearsome creature, and I think calling her a lazy empress might be stretching the bounds of her temper. I know that you don't really mean it. I think she just looks very regal. I don't think that she looks particularly lazy, although she does look very asleep, I must admit. I think that's probably because she is slightly... Oh, no, she's awake. I often wonder if they don't close their eyes halfway like that because their eyes are so obviously yellow, and opening them would actually make her much easier to see. So I wonder if she's just sleepy or trying to hide the fact that she's there by concealing her bright lemon yellow eyes. Mustard yellow more than lemon, I suppose. Fascinating creature. And we once dissected one when we used to have this quite nice little venue, I suppose you'd call it, called The Tent, which was unsurprisingly a tent quite near camp, and it was our rain set, and sometimes even when it wasn't raining we'd go in there, and Trishala used to cut up anything that she could find. Eyes were her particular favourite, and I once dissected a spotted eagle owl that we found dead. I didn't kill it, and it really was very interesting because I've always heard about it and always wanted to see it, but I took the feathers off the head and you could see how the ears are offset from each other, which I'm sure you've heard. And if you haven't heard this, and if you're looking at that owl thinking that those tufts are its ears, remember that they are not its ears. They're just called ear tufts because they look like ears, but those are just decorative. The ears are next to the eyes, basically, same where you'd expect them to be, really. And one is higher than the other, allowing the owl to very accurately judge distance and direction using sound. And if you ever happen to find yourself a roadkill owl or some such, do yourself a favour, assuming it hasn't rotted into some foul mulch, and, well, bit macabre as it is, pluck off the feathers of the head and you'll find the one ear hole lower than the other. That rather disgusting story has disturbed our owl friend slightly. I think she'll get over it, though. She's probably looking forward to her husband coming home with a delicious bushveld gerbil to regurgitate into her face. I'm sure he'll regurgitate one. He probably actually brings it back fresh in his talons, and she'll then eat it. It's be a bit of a worry that when he goes out hunting, wondering if he'll come back. I think we'll probably carry on and see what else awaits us up the drainage line.
Has no plan. He still hasn't even acknowledged that he knew this was happening, knew how.
Family, mambo, alitengeneza. Well, we might have lost my colleague, but just to be able to broadcast to you from Africa is always quite a challenge. The good news, I am still here tight watching these lion cubs playing. Now look at that one now. This is not the same color or the same lipstick she had, but I just saw her licking the ground. And the geology of the Mara is more of the black cotton soil. So I think all the bloody mouth she had, she has picked so much soil, and now that's why it looks so dark and like looking red. And this is the one I say, she doesn't play so much with the other three, but she's still a darling. She's still adorable to see her even playing on her own. You see that one just comes and nags her a little bit to play. She doesn't bother. Look at that one there. But there's one that mom is licking there. Just look at that. There is two full legs up. She's just licking. That one cleaning her. Of course, grooming at the same time. How beautiful is this? Oh, mommy. And basically, as much as she's doing that, she's also licking and eating the same blood, or whatever pieces or particles of meat or flesh could be on her body. And I'm sure she's also learning something, playing with mom. Oh, Bungay, very good camera work. Thank you very much. So she has just to lick her cleanly. Should they, get any flies, unlike maybe the fully grown adults, like the mother there or the auntie that could be having some immunity, the mother would not want the cub to take any chances with infection from any parasites or any flies that would come on her face. I think apart from cleaning her and eating the blood, she would want to make sure that does not happen. That one lioness is so full, she's just going to flat. Love Shah, good question. You're asking how long are they going to take to finish this carcass. Love Shah, the last carcass they had, which apparently was also a zebra like this, it took them 3 days. So this has been eaten partly tonight and tomorrow, and the 3 from today, it will be gone. What will be left, it will not be worth for them. They're going to leave it to scavengers, talking of hyenas or vultures or both. Look at that pose. I'm sure she's saying, this is mine alone. Don't come close to me. But it's time to play, regardless of you. Thinking we have a good case. They change positions. When scavengers come, I've always noticed we got eagles that we call Tawny eagles and the bat lures. They're always very fast to pick kills like this, even before hyenas and the vultures. Come on, go join the party. You must be clean. Oh, look at that. It's 2 adults grooming each other, strengthening their bonds, their social bonds. And that's why lions or lionesses are the most social cats we got in Africa. And as much as earlier I said, I've seen this pride, one of the lioness being 3-4 kilometers away from the other, but they're always in touch. The one who still has the half tail, I was with her in the morning, and she was calling and calling. And if anybody would not have seen her and hear her roaring, you could easily mistake her for a male because she was very loud. Then I left her after the sunrise drive, went back to the camp. Coming down, it was raining heavily. We had our rain covers down, but just through a small window,
I saw her moving, so she came and joined the rest of the pride, and very quickly they made plans to get themselves some dinner. I would say this pride is quite successful, and it reminds me of the sausage tree pride, although the sausage tree pride are specialists of hunting buffaloes. You notice there's a 3 and 1 is not there, it's not joining them, but hopefully she's going to join them, play together, the 4 of them. It's more fun if this one that you see here, bottom left of your screen, will also join the part to play. I think she is, and I'm staying with them as we take you to another location.
It's always nice watching cubs or small animals playing. Here we have a little elephant here playing as well. He's actually mocking the cousin there. Not quite sure what he's saying to him. Look at him raising his trunk, trying to sniff the air. Of course, this is a behavior that he's watched the other elephants do. Baby elephants learn from observing and watching the adults and the members of the family do whatever they do, and then they pick that and get into their minds. Now this young one will be left some time to be disciplined by the cousins. Okay, coming closer to mom, or you've seen your cousin there. What are you doing with your trunk? See, he's actually watching what the mom is doing. Yeah, got a cheeky guy trying to pick some grass there. See, by observing the mom or the adults, they learn and then they do it themselves. The others, by watching how the mom is grazing there, she's also trying to do the same. But at this age, they have not gotten the ability to use their trunks fully. So sometimes what they do, they'll kneel down and grasp grass with their teeth. She's trying to help with the foot. Okay, I'm trying to go to mom. Okay, mom, I'm gonna scratch you a little bit. Okay, mom. Can you help me with this, please? Oh, wow, how cute is this? So these matriarchs actually help raise the entire family, and they're the ones that determine the movement of the family. Elephants have adopted to listen or to understand how their matriarch communicate. It's quite interesting because when elephants mix up in big herds, especially at a water point or maybe a grazing point, they only understand their matriarchs. I was once in an elephant research and we played the vocal communication and the rumbles from a matriarch from a different herd, and the herd that we played to, they all got confused. How interesting is that? So elephant family consists of related sisters and cousins. Young bulls from the age of 11 to 17 will leave the herds, and when they leave the herds, they go join the older bulls that are nomadic and bachelors. Tamara, thank you for your question. How big can an elephant herd be? I've seen herds of up to 70, 50, but generally speaking, a herd can consist up to more than 40 elephants. That is how some herds can be. In parts like Amboseli, we have herds that consist of actually up to about 56 individuals. So depending on the area and availability of food, some herds can be bigger. These elephants will be around here grazing slowly because they have small calf, so the mothers actually walk slowly because the young ones cannot keep up the pace, and because they get tired, these mothers take time to rest. And because it's cold here, they also shelter them from the wind, from the cold, and also from the rain, because sometimes you can see them lying on the ground as the adults gather and create shade for them. Those two are not the same age, so sometimes you find the young ones actually bullying the slightly older ones. Those two look like sisters. It's nice watching these elephant graze, and sometimes how they stop and wait, thinking what it's running in their mind. And as we do that, watching these elephants, we're going to send you over to another safari vehicle.
Elephants, my favorite mammals, elephants, anytime. Now, Half-Tail is now up, and she has gone back to start devouring, or to continue devouring this zebra, which I think they did a very good job. I still haven't recovered from the plan these three female or these three lionesses used to bring this prey down. I was with three of them. I lost one. I had two, and me and Bunge, who's on camera, we put our lens on these two females, watching them, waiting to see how they're going to bring down the zebra. But the third one that we lost went around us, and she's actually the one who did the job. Well, as much as it's getting dark, you can tell these cubs got nothing to do with that, and it's time to keep playing and playing. You can hear Half-Tail pulling off the flesh from that carcass. This is one of the most peaceful, I would say, devouring of a carcass I've seen in a long time, because up to now we have not had any calls of hyenas. We have not had any threat, and that's why you can tell these lionesses here, one has gone flat to have a nap as much as the tail swings once in a while, and the other one is feeding. It's always wonderful to see them like this, as much as maybe we may want to give other people the chance to see, and these cubs being so young. I can't believe that this is how this hunt was executed by these lionesses. And for those of you who could be joining us now, this is the River Pride, and this is the second zebra prey they have brought down in 4 days, I would say. So the third female disappeared. I thought she went for a drink. She hasn't come back. I don't know why. And I'm trying to imagine, maybe she also have cubs. Who knows? This is one lioness I'm trying to get a local Swahili name for, because she is very active. She is like the leader of this pride. She plants things. The cubs love her so much. And no wonder she's eating more than the others. Look at how she arcs her tail. Of course, it's got more leverage to be able to turn around that zebra as she wants the carcass. The cubs still up and down. And remember, we're coming to you live. And should you have any comments or questions, please send them through. Hashtag WildEarth on Twitter, or at FC in the comment section of the YouTube chat channels. As maybe you'll be giving this breed of lion some space to continue enjoying their dinner as we take you to another location.
So, live from Pride Lands, we are with a couple of elephant bulls, one really massive elephant bull and one much smaller one. And we, in fact, were so fortunate a moment ago to witness, I say a moment ago, it was quite a while back, this massive one-tusked elephant bull actually pushed over a huge, ginormous tree. And now these two elephants fed on it for a little while, but now they're moving off. Such a shame because the tree has a lot more to offer. But anyway, I'm sure the other animals will go and feed on it tonight. This one elephant is now feeding on some very dry grasses and bushes. Now, I wonder if perhaps the larger elephant just sort of pressured it away a little bit. So this young one here is going to start probably heading towards that tree in order to feed now that the big one has moved off. It's interesting, this large elephant bull is... only got to wonder if it maybe lost its tusk at some point in the past. But this young one is moving sort of slowly towards where the older bull is. I wonder if he's just making sure that he has actually finished with his food and before he goes and starts tucking in, because of course if he starts feeding and the larger elephant is not yet ready, it could get chased. And although he seems pretty calm, and a large elephant bull is very powerful, so this young guy will have to be a little bit careful. There's a couple of drongos, little black birds flying past there. Also, just before it gets too dark, those drongos are going to be trying to catch any insects that this young elephant bull disturbs from the environment. Yeah, you can see them just flicking around there. And that elephant bull is going to move down into the drainage line to feed exactly where the big bull was feeding before. What a moment to have spent with these animals. You can see it's behind all those branches. You can see those few drongos flying about, catching things as that elephant does disturb the bushes and branches. It's a real delight. I'm going to try and maybe move us back just a little bit to see if we can get a slightly better view of this elephant as it feeds on this tree. I think that's probably going to be about as good as we can get. And as you can see there, it is a huge tree. That's the top of the tree that's fallen down. And this elephant is enjoying stuff which it otherwise wouldn't be able to reach.
Beautiful back here at Gari Dam this afternoon. They were beautiful. A couple of hippos here in this watering hole, having their coolest afternoon. For them, actually, it was not actually very warm today, so they managed to handle all the situations. Being in the water, when they want to, in a day like this, they can get out, wander around outside of the water. But also, it's, once it's safe, they will either come out early or depend later when it's dark. And this is all about now feeding when they go distances. They can cover at least about 4 or 5 kilometers away from the water. And that could be the whole way about grazing. They eat grasses. And they all feed around the mound where grass is. It's rich and sweet for this animal. Look at this, could be one of the bull there, sticking its, at least we can see part of its body. Normally when it's very hot, you only see its ears and the nostrils. But at least there it's probably touching the bottom. So, yeah, hippo, they need water. They have to be in the water during a daily basis for their skin to be safe, softest. But again, for them to be able to survive out of the water, they got to be in a shade. And that makes them not to burn out their skin from the sun. And that could be maybe survival take place for about maybe 5 days, 4 days. Liam, welcome to the afternoon show. So you want to know if hippos are cold-blooded. So this type of animal, they are not, but they can handle any of the situations. Their blood, it's normal, but only that their skin, it's very different from most other animals that, even though it's a very thicker layer, and it's still, very sensitive to heat, to directly sunshine at them, especially when they're out of the water. So, but when they're inside the water, that can provide pretty much cool warmer to their body. When a lot of time the water, you come in contact with the water as a human being, if then that water is not frozen day, and your skin able to at least get used to kind of water you at the same time. But with the hippos, they find a way easily to able to deal with the kind of situations. So, they are, you can listen to them now, listen to them. So also what happened when they go down the water, so their nostrils, they're shut. So they're kind of like not a valve, but there is a system where when they go down, close up their nostrils, and also they just close their eyes, but also the ears as well. There's a way they close so no water can get in. So, but I'm not sure if they can able to listen when they're under the water. That I'm not sure, but they do that. And also for them to able to come up to breathe again. Anything from about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes there. And then able to come out to take a breath again before they go down. So they come highly territorial. And of course, where there used to be a lot of hippos, some other country where they were not fenced in a reserve, comes a lot of problem with these animals. Human come in contact with them pretty much during the day or night. And then, of course, for their self-defense, they used to kill a lot of people that way. But they're not actually part of the Big Five. There's a lot of questioning that day as well. Why they're not part of the Big Five? Because those are the Big Five, are the animal that there were some trade happening. Talking about elephants, rhinos, lions, but also during that time, these animals would stand themselves for the self-defense, kill a lot of hunters during that time. So they're not a part of the Big Five. Also crocodile, not part of the Big Five, but they're deadly animals. They're actually very strong in killing. When you're ever close to them, the only problem with that, if they're under the water just died quietly and you don't see any bubble, and that's where you're not sure what is in there. You all come in contact with the water and collect water or some net, trying to get some fish out of this pond here, and that animal will come right at you and you won't get out. So they can run up to 35 kilometers an hour, pick up this very huge body of them with a very short leg. Usually it's very good for them when they run into a very slope also. But uphill, if you're up in a mound, very tall mound, meter mound, 2 meter mound, I think you survive because they won't get you up there. Very short leg. Look at that yawn. Oh, beautiful. So they also have these 2 senses of canine. Those are self-defense weapon. Between a bull and other approach to them, they were able to defend themselves. So I'm going to probably look for something else.
No, you can't hear me. You can't hear me. How about now? Yes, good. I always wanted to climb this tree, but it was very difficult, in fact impossible to climb. until an elephant pushed it over. I think it was already dead and rotting at the base, and this is used to be, unfortunately now, going to rot the ground. So today I took my opportunity. Apparently my sound is not working very well. Now it is. I don't know how much of that you heard. Before I come back to the car, allow me to point out the tall white squill, which at the moment is still quite short, but will eventually grow up here and have very pleasant white flowers. I hope that you're also taking note of my beautiful socks, along with the superb muscled legs coming out from beneath my shorts. I wouldn't describe what I'm wearing right now as the most fashionable bush haute couture, but there it is. On we go. Cannot find an animal, I'm afraid. Tried very hard. Hello, Fiona. I don't think you'll find many guides that would reply that they prefer the sunset drives to the sunrise. The sunrise, everything feels fresh and new and exciting, and stuff's been moving around during the day, so you can go and track it. The sunset drives, not the same. Different feeling, not unpleasant at all, but I think the sunrise definitely, and I would think that very few would say that they preferred the sunset to the sunrise. I suppose it depends on the time of the day. In the height of winter, no, even then I think sunrise is probably still better. I have a very short time to try and find you something of worth.
It's beautiful. So I haven't moved from this very last spot where we had these hippos. I see now they're getting comfortable. It's probably one of the animals that they want to, every time they stick their heads out when they see any object and they have a look, sometimes investigate if they have a young one, will swim right close to you or the car. But it's not that they want to come to you, it's that they want to probably just, they're safe in the water, then they're sure for that. So a hippo bull would weigh about 2,000 kilograms, and that's fully body weight for a male. And of course, gestation period is about 7-8 months. They give birth from there. But it's so important. Every time, part of hippo with a group up, would have a dominant male that is also controls all of females, but it comes sometimes a lot of challenge. Do you happen that male sometimes lost a fight and another male get in? That's not a problem, but it's not a strict in terms of where the male will come in and kill all the siblings which is not belong to him. No, you would still accept, but then winning the part of hippo as a group of females, for him, it's a privilege of starting, forming his gene pool, also extending family, grow up in this group. Territorial animals, they are always strictly in terms of patrol, they also defend their own territory. By other defecations, hippo, they do that. They spray their dungs in a bunch of trees for that the scent will remain in their whole information. It's in the dungs. They do that also when they want to get out, and they face the water and their backside face against the trees, and they hold the defecate, also scatter the dungs. So I just want to take this time to thank everybody, for all the viewers of WildEarth, for being with us this afternoon in this colder weather. I just want to thank you so much. Understanding that it was not easy for us, but just want to say goodbye until we meet again tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Have a good night. Bye-bye.